Mic check 1, 2. I did not have you on there. Did you hit the include my audio? Actually, hold on. Nope, that is on my end. Yep, there you go. And if you have that selected, we should be good to go.
Yeah, mic check 1, 2.
Yep, I got you a little crackly, so you may unplug, plug back in, but other than that, we are good to go.
Okay, thank you.
Wow, the audio is extremely finicky right now. It's picking everything up.
On my end or where?
No, on my end, I'm just listening to the stream. Okay, and going into the session. And yes, Plata, we do have a special guest in the booth.
The former champion, I guess you could say.
Former champion, old man, one of the two.
Is it Chuck Villeneuve?
Just waiting for the audio, or not the audio, the lag and everything to get lined out, and it is. So now I can put the earbud away. Audio is good, albeit our voices may be a little loud, but
Okay.
it is all okay. So, welcome, surprise guest. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm a 3-time champion. My name is Slapshot13. Will not be racing tonight because I never learned how to race this track.
Oh.
Did that come through?
Yeah, it did. You are all good to go.
Yeah, it's cool to be up here with you, Retro. It's this track is certainly overwhelming to learn in a week, so I really wanted to get off the track and not kill anyone. So it'll be interesting to see how many other guys maybe take the week off. I don't know how many. Can you come in here in the server right now?
Let's see. We have currently 31 in the server.
Yeah, that's a little low, right? We know Trix won't be here. I think Prieto is out, which is interesting for standings implications. Will Self be here tonight?
Not sure. I'd be surprised if he is. I know Sylph was a little distraught by the fact that I don't think he is going to be in competition for the championship.
You think that means he hung it up then? He is
I don't
He is
know.
a confirmed no on the account, so he will not be here. We won't have Ormiston. We won't have Prieto. This is a great opportunity for Mitch and Euro to get back. This will be huge.
Well, for Ouroboros, it is a bigger opportunity than anyone else. He is directly in competition with his teammate for the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, it's interesting. He doesn't have an opportunity to drop tonight. He's got to be smart with this race. He just has to get some points.
As of right now, Cave the furthest ahead. And there's not too many out for qualifying. Or not qualifying, practice. Seems like everybody's just getting started with a lap, and with as much time as there is left on the board, that only gives them enough time for 2.
And Silva's really cleaned up, in the amateurs. He's got a hefty lead over Schwartz, Scoliosis in 3rd, Shupi, and Night Walker rough up the top 5. Interesting, he can't afford a drop either, though, Silva. If anything bad happens tonight, that's bad news.
Down into the carousel for the first time is Cave, and sent you a message, Slap. If I can have you look at that.
Yep.
But again, welcome in everyone. Couple technical difficulties. We are going to try to fix that real quick. Oh, there he is. He's back.
Yeah, my audio quality is not to snuff. Is that any better, Retro?
I am going to check and we will see. I don't think so.
Of course. What if I sit closer to my Xbox? I was trying to...
Well, I think it may be something that is to do with the stream, not so much your audio, because your audio comes through clear on my end. It's just whenever it comes through on the stream side. Let me try something real quick. We'll see if this fixes it.
Yeah, no problem.
That is not what I meant to do. Okay. Go ahead and redo it. We'll see if that fixes it.
Do you want me to rejoin it? Or do you want me just to chat?
Just make sure that you just hit the include your audio button. We'll see if that fixes it.
Radio check.
It's about the same, but it should be okay.
Oh, I just heard it. It's terrible, dude. That's lackluster. It's kind of in and out, eh? It's not terrible.
It is. It's not the worst, but
Kind of takes away the professional nature of your stream, doesn't it?
I mean, it's not the end of the world, Slap. It'll be okay.
Kind of shit. That's okay. Well, thank you for having me. And you know what? We'll play it by ear. And if it sounds bad, I don't mind bouncing out. I really just wanted to join the booth. Yeah.
It'll be okay. We'll at least go through practice. Cabe will be the first across the line to start a flying lap, or at least has gone all the way around the track. We'll see if this turns into more of a lap. There are some that came through the Joker. I'm sorry, Slap, your booth debut is not quite going up to plan. Brute first time across the line at 8:16.1, and that's a fairly respectable time. Salinas and the McLaren a few seconds behind. Running a bit closer to a time that I would run. Still quicker than me.
It's a great first lap. That's incredible.
Now, Slap, I believe you did know that you were going to be quizzed on your corner names for the Nordschleife, so if you would like to take us through a lap.
Yeah, so he's entering the Schumacher S, I'm pretty sure, just about now, and that's just pure bloody luck. That's the only one I know, bro. So what are the odds of that? I'm going to buck out of that. How amazing is that?
Well, Schumacher S is at least a good one to start at.
This is the part of the track I knew very well, and then immediately it got awful very quickly. I did one valid lap here, and it's intense, man. These guys have a big challenge ahead of them, and it's not going to be easy.
It will definitely not be easy surviving that first lap and trying to get into the single file line so you can then really start to work on finding your spot where you belong. Mitch, second fastest, and a development that you have seen a little bit more firsthand than I have. The Aston Martins have had very good late season pace. They terrible throughout the first 5 or 6 rounds or so. I don't think there were really any Aston Martins near the top of the podium, and if they were, they'd had some bad luck go their way. We've had the majority of the top 10 being held by Aston Martins pretty much since, I would say that was Bathurst.
You can look at that a couple different ways. Like, Mitch started the season off and not himself, and then Bruce come together and put a lot of work in. Is Marty out of the Aston now? He's in the BMW, but he looks worldly different. I don't know if
Marvy is back in the Aston Martin.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's just the timing and coincidental, but these guys, they're nailing it. And on track, they're quick. That car is very difficult to overtake. It just keeps coming.
Ouroboros in the pit lane. Mid-engine cars are a little bit stronger here. So we'll see if we get any McLarens or Ferraris up the order. The Mustang also extremely quick here at the Nordschleife, and we don't have many of our top Mustang drivers. I say our top, just the ones that tend to finish a bit further up the order. And I believe that would be Ormiston, and I don't know if I see Peach Tipper faster. At home, running the respective livery. He's got a Manti livery on that 992 GT3R, an 8:15.1. That's a quick lap.
I just
don't know if that's quali practice or not. Yes, first race in pro. He did take the win in AM last week, did he not, at Kyalami?
He looked incredible. One of the two guys, I think they were buddies, but I did think he took the win, so he was an instant promotion.
Yeah, win on an AM debut. And with that pace, maybe looking at a pro win in a pro debut. Has there ever been a debut-to-debut winner back-to-back immediately after being promoted? I don't think so.
Yeah, nobody's climbed the ladder that quickly, but the challenge, I think, with Tipper was he may not have had a lot of laps on the bot that we could really put down for a speed. We made a mistake in putting him on amp.
Mom, does everything sound okay right now or no? A quick Porsche driver is a bit of a deadly threat. And what were you going to say, Slap?
Oh, I was talking to, it looks like Brad and your mom are reaching out to me to sort of improve audio quality here. My mic is blurry. Brad, I'll try this out first.
Again, you sound fine through me, so I think it may just be something we can't control in the magical internet. He said, I sound perfect, you sound better than before, and listenable, which is a bit mean for your booth debut. I'd say you're a little bit more than listenable, but it's like saying the food tastes good, or if that food's edible, but it doesn't taste good. I think you'll be just fine, Slap. We'll see if everything irons itself out. 3 minutes left in the session. Only 5 drivers have set a lap so far, which I think may be a little bit more indicative of our qualifying than many of the grid would like to think. But if you're pushing in that qualifying, especially with our short qualifying session, you only get 2 opportunities at a lap. We're going to have quite the crossover here with the Pro and Am release as well.
Okay, boys, I gave a couple of recommendations off red. Did someone confirm if that was any cover? And chat is fine.
And Brute absolutely flying through Flonsgarten. I mean, he was completely 4 wheels off the ground in the air.
Very sick.
Schraubensfronsen out of the Kleine carousel for Brute, but a little bit too wide. That's going to invalidate the lap. See. And we won't really know what kind of time we would have been looking at, as it will be invalid.
That 8:15 is, that's quick.
It is very quick, but I do have a feeling that is not quite going to be enough to hold on to the pole position. Oh, so we do have Peach and Griffith in here, 2 extremely quick Mustang drivers, and this track is very favorable to the Mustang, at least from the experience I have with multiple races here. At least commentating multiple races here. Peach goes 3rd.
Yeah, I'm interested in terms of quality. How do you create a big enough gap? You really struggle because it's such a long lap.
Yeah, you look at 2.2 seconds, and at any other track, that would be a monstrous amount of time to try and gain. But here at the Nordschleife, that may be just 2 corners that you take a slightly suboptimal line, maybe brake a little too late into the corner, have to or lose all of your momentum, or try not to carry too much speed into a corner and end up maybe overshooting slightly, undershooting. I mean, there's plenty of places for the lap to completely go awry.
Yeah, is it advantageous just to sit back for 6 minutes or whatever and try to get one lap in? I don't know. It's strat.
Well, there is the phenomenon known as the God Lap. Do we see any God Laps here tonight?
You know, GFR usually will get 1 or 2 God Laps every week, to be honest. Someone puts something together that they've never done before. Use the tricks it. We'll do something like that. I'll do it once in a blue moon, but it happens often.
Yeah, we'll look back at Bathurst last season, where we got that God Lap from you last minute across the line, last second across the line, pretty much.
It's interesting. I think in some of these races where the track evolves, you really have to maximize being on track the very last minute. That happened at Bathurst, and we started on a fast track. So those are opportunities you got to maximize.
Well, the good thing is, Slap, I am going to be getting better internet. I'm actually moving this week, so
yep.
Next time it should go better. Again, I'm sorry about the
Well, luckily I
audio.
can't hear myself. I just will never listen to this again.
Actually, you sounded pretty good right then.
I don't know. You know what it could be? What if my wife is watching? No, you said you can hear me fine, but the way it sort
I
of
can hear you fine.
translates, right?
It's just where it's coming through for me.
So that's kind of scary that I guess a bunch of people are still on track. Actually, there's not really many people on track. 8 people said
There have
left.
not been very many takers.
Why wouldn't you take? What are they doing?
Either you are just sitting there waiting and watching, or maybe
Praying.
cool down. We did see a lot of people in the pre-race practice session, and maybe they got all their laps then and they're just using this as a bit of a cool down before getting started with the actual flying laps. Guzman will be next across the line. We'll see if this lap stays valid.
Yeah, I brought the mic a little bit closer.
Oh, no. Too much speed into Hawk Eichen, and that is going to end the lap.
Twig. Yeah, Twig, we're having audio issues.
Griffith absolutely sends it a little bit too hard, takes out the camera and hard into the wall at the exit of Flonsgarten, and that may be exactly what we are going to kind of see. And who is going out first? There is an AM driver. We have officially started AM qualifying, and it is Silva, the AM championship leader, and really the only one who has got a really good shot at the AM championship in the McLaren out first.
Schwartz has got to get out there, or he's got to wait.
Now, in this qualifying session, they will have the ability to pick the Joker lap, and we have 25 minutes left. So is that going to be a split into two 12-minute sessions, or
yeah, correct.
How does the split work there?
We're going to give everybody 2 hot laps. So at 13 minutes, whatever the halfway point, we'll swap over.
So 2 laps is all you get, and is that including the Joker lap or no?
So 2 valid laps, I believe, is how the math would add up. You'll do your 2-minute Joker, 8 and 8. Does that make sense? Yeah. That's going to be an issue for the pros who are queuing up because they're going to catch some of the guys on track.
That was one of my concerns, is there was going to be a lot of intermingling between the classes. As we got rolling, Silva will take to the Joker.
It's like a grade 6 dance.
And will be the first. Silva will be the first to start a flying lap. And is that, in the Mercedes behind, is that, it's not Elmo, I believe that may be Lingard, and yes, it is Lingard. So Silva, then Lingard should be the first to go. The 11 of Shuby seems like he actually missed the turn-in at the Joker. Or actually, no, I think he went around at the chicane. That may make those tires a little bit warm. So with Silva down into the GP hairpin for the first time. I call it the Dunlop hairpin. I may be right, I may be wrong, but up into the Schumacher S for Silva. Now into first of the 2 90-degree curves in the GP circuit. Ravenel curve, hold it out nice and wide, and then you come into Bilstein curve, a little bit more known and probably more enjoyed. And then you do have the Advan curve, the little kink coming up the straight before you get into the chicane. through the chicane nicely. Silva very, very quick, and I think Silva is counting his days left in AM as he is likely looking to the promotion. Turns left at the Nordschleife, down through Schmidt's curve, and now down the hill, flying towards Hatzenbach.
If any AMs just stayed in the pit and waited this out, that's what I'd be doing.
Waiting out the crowd to go out first and then to come out second, or
yeah,
what
correct.
would you be doing?
I mean, you have to do math. You need 2 hot laps, but if you're behind someone, you're screwed, really. Unless they, I don't know, it's a tough one. I just like what Silva
Unless they're
did.
way faster than you.
Yeah, Silva did the right thing, and Schwartzy should be out there behind him because he's second fastest. I don't know where he is, if he's even here.
Schwartz is out by himself, just coming into Hatzenbach. Silva on the straight, now coming into Schwedenkreuz. And into Arenberg on the brakes, trying to get it rotated now. Arguably the fastest point on the circuit. Flying down the hill through the kinks into Foxhole. And then up into Adnar Forst, the very tricky chicane, getting a ton of the curve on the inside, carrying a lot of speed through. Now the chicane of Adnar Forst, very nice, smooth line through. I believe we're not expecting any weather. We got our weather out of the way.
Absolutely not. Now that we shut down the weather machine for the rest of the season.
Sounds good to me. Out of Metzigesfeld into Kallenhard. Still swimming through the trees. A big slide through miss, hit, miss from Silva. I don't think that is necessarily the line that he wanted to take, and then down into Versifen.
So tricky, this quali. You don't want to mess it up. You want to have a valid lap, but you also don't want to be stuck behind some slower guys. It's tough.
Yeah, just how much push do you give it?
It's such a long lap that the law of averages should work in your favor, that if you're just fast, you should be faster by the end.
Don't want to be too safe. You do want to be valid. But at the same time, you don't want to push too hard and invalidate. Coming through Kesselchen. Silva, in my opinion, you may agree, the left-hand kink that comes up here in a few seconds, Muttkurva, is the trickiest corner on the entire circuit. You make or break your lap right here. 2 tires out wide onto the curbing. Now trying to carry as much speed through all the way against the wall, and he does just that. Very, very quick now down into Klostertal for the turnaround, for the dip into the carousel. Also another make or break moment on your lap. Have to get the carousel just right. Silva does kind of three-wheeling a bit, maybe loses speed too much of the inside curb and then gets spit out wrong, losing a ton of time. That is going to be a trouble area for the entire grid. Carousel is a bit of a monster if you just don't do things absolutely perfect. Now into Hoyacht. This is where the lap becomes real. The third sector here. Down into Vipperman, my favorite section of the track. Abusing those flat curbs on the inside, then pushing wide to the outside, trying to carry as much speed through as possible. Now you come down the hill through Eschbach, off into the grass and in the wall. And that is hard contact for the McLaren of Silva. And just like that, it all falls apart.
Now he can joker lap and get back out there, right?
He can joker lap and get back out there, but he is not going to have much time to do so.
Joker lap's 2 minutes or so, isn't it?
Joker lap is 2 minutes. He's got to be out by the 12-minute marker. Shuby going way too deep into Vipperman there, having to get on the brakes. You really don't want to drag too much brake through there, and this is where Silva lost it just earlier into Eschbach. Now down into Brunchen YouTube corner, as it's known. We get the iconic camera angle, as you may have seen in all of the auto addiction videos. And now we run to Flonsgarten. Flonsgarten and Schraubensschwanz, two of the trickiest corners on the track. Flonsgarten, 4 wheels off the ground, lifting through the air. You may see the front end of this Mustang slap down, of 4 wheels through the air, flying for Shuby. And now hammered down through Schraubensschwanz, 2 tires on the dirt, but that's okay. It's the Nordschleife. It's just kind of something you do. Flat out through the chicane, keeps it nice and tidy. I think Shuby is on a good lap here.
Shuby hasn't been here the last 2 races. This is welcome back. Maybe he's just been practicing for this.
Possibly, and it's a good place to pick up points. There's not going to be too much competition in the AM field. And through the Kleine carousel, very, very quick. That's actually a super smooth line through there. Don't know if he maybe carried or left a little bit of speed on the table. And now on to the Dottinger. This is where the Mustang really shines. The long, long straight of the Dottinger. And just able to push as much speed as possible.
That's pretty boring for this Mustang. My gosh.
Into Tiergarten, a touch of the brakes. And this is where the lap can all go wrong. And almost loses it, managed to hold on to it. Crossed the line and has enough time to go for one more lap. An 8:22.2 will not go for one more lap. I think he has just enough time to get back out and on to the Joker. Do they just have to leave the pit lane by the 12-minute mark, or do they need to cross the line by the 12-minute mark?
Yeah, I'll dig that up. It was in the brief.
Sierra goes second fastest, and the Mustang of Christian B across the line, looking to go for a flying lap here.
13:01. They got to get across the line. 13:01. So I don't think Shuby will make that, will he?
I don't think Shuby will, and I don't know if Shuby is going for it. Scroll goes second, 5.2 seconds off.
So Retro, they gave him 12 minute and a buffer of 1 minute in the middle.
Okay. So not much time to really use. I am going to pull up the live timing so I can keep up to date with the times that have been run. Scroll at 8:27.4, Shuby at 8:22.2. Excuse me, sorry about that. Cabe P3 with an 8:29.1. And also, welcome to those of you on the YouTube side. Sorry I haven't been paying much attention to the YouTube chat, but again, thank you to those on YouTube. We are just 8 subscribers away on YouTube from 200. So if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button. Leave a like and a comment as well if you're watching on the YouTube side or watching post-race. Clint P5, and this may be a very good opportunity.
Clint can get a lot of points.
Clint can get a ton of points here, especially if he can improve a little bit, maybe get right there behind Sierra, get a little bit closer to Sierra. And very tricky to carry as much speed as possible on this lap. Lingard did not put in a valid lap, so is out on a final try.
The strat for the amateurs might be to not even race the pros. I mean, it never should be, but Shuby's going to be in a tough spot because he's going to be mixed in with the pros.
Zoenam in the Porsche. We have seen Zoenam get a lot quicker this season. Maybe looking for some success tonight. We've seen Zoenam bring home a win in AM this season. I believe if it wasn't a win, it was a podium. And another good opportunity at the same here at the Nordschleife. James Earl Jones in AM will not qualify. The pros have taken the field. It does seem to be that Ouroboros is going to be the first one out. Elmo will not qualify. Lynch will not qualify. Silva will not qualify.
How do those guys get sorted
Silva
out?
Silva going to be working from the back. They have not set a time. They are just going to be sitting at the back of the field.
Is it based on who joined the server?
It is based on what time they got in. So Silva may be in the better position of everyone there. Silva is at the very back. Ouroboros will be the first pro to start their flying laps.
Very traditional
See
of
what
him.
Ouroboros is able to do. Yes, very traditional to be the first out. Needs the win. Desperately needs the win. Prieto taking a drop race to sit out here. I don't believe that we have Prieto in. I don't see Prieto on the scoreboard. So if Ouroboros can take home a win here, that is good. Even second or third place. I don't think Ouroboros is taking any drop races this season, at least not so far.
He's had a great run. He had trouble at Kailami with that penalty last race.
It needs a good result to wipe that one clean from the board.
And he'll be quick at the last two, Silverstone and Imola. He'll be quick.
Twig in the chat saying, back is where it's at, otherwise how do you know how hard to send it on the last lap?
I can't believe there's only 5 valid times. That's wild.
Oh, and Zoenam gets it all wrong. Just coming into Flonskarten, and if there's anywhere to get it wrong, it is at Flonskarten. So Zoenam, no time on the board. We do have Christian B. No, Christian B has gone off at Muck Curve. And now that leaves Devin Lingard all to his own. There is not much of our AM field that is able to put a lap in, and you really don't get much opportunity. Nordschleife qualifying sessions in real life are at least an hour long, if not a couple hours long. 20 minutes only gives you 2 laps, or I say 12 minutes only gives you 2 laps. And that only means 2 mistakes and you're done.
Scoliosis just sort of sits back and Shuby runs into trouble. He's looking at getting to second in the standings here. That's massive.
We'll have to see where the pros line out. 5.2 seconds between the 2 times, which is really just confidence with the track that separates those two. Depends on how many pros they have in between. Now that could be the detriment to Shuby if he is swallowed up in the pro field, which he very well may be. And Lingard loses it at Brunchen and will be an end to his lap, and I think that is majority it from those who have not set a time. We do have 3 AM drivers still out on track trying to set a time, trying to improve a time. Scroll thinks he's got some improvement, needs 5.2 seconds to go for pole. Cave needs about a second, almost 2 seconds to move up into P2. and Clint. The furthest back has qualified, but any small improvement would put him very far up into the field, sneaking his way a little bit further into the pro field. That 17-second margin between Shuby and Clint would be quite a lot to try and close together. There's a lot of room for pros to jump in there. Scroll a bit too deep into the Kleine carousel. It does at least seem to be valid for now. And Ouroboros must have had an invalidation on that last lap. No pros have set a time, and it's getting into the crucial time. You've got to set your lap now. They do have some time past the timer hitting 0 to get their lap in, but Ouroboros, who will be one of the favorites tonight, still no lap set. No pro driver has set a lap. Furthest ahead is the 24 of Brute, who at least from Slap seems to be the favorite heading into the green flag tonight.
On screen, he's got a teal icon. Is he not on a valid lap then?
It's a bit of a glitch. I would not say that he is or isn't on a valid lap. Very well could be. It's something that you don't really know if they're on a valid lap or an invalid lap anymore. Because I've seen teal markers come through and, well, then they run a valid lap.
Yeah, if you're invalid.
Very nice and tidy. Very nice and tidy through the carousel for Brute. And yeah, why would you be out on track? You'd be just wasting time if you can just go back to the pit lane, come through the Joker. 2 minutes compared to, say, 3 or 4 minutes it takes to get back to the start-finish line.
So these guys are all presumably valid.
Yes, I don't see why they would be out on track. Now look at that timer. 4 minutes. There should be plenty of time for Brute and everybody to get to the line. But if you are just now starting a lap, Ouroboros took another Joker, by the way. Should have already been starting on a lap. Took another Joker. It's going to get down to the wire for pro qualifying, and we may have a complete mixed bag in our pro field. And thank you, Ib Schofield, for the raid. We are live with Nordschleife qualifying here with GoFAST Racing. And getting down into the closing stages, that Aston Martin wants to fly. It is picking up. I know there's wings on that emblem on the hood, but that front end is lifting up. I think he has to be touching the brakes as he comes over the crest at Flonskarten.
Oh, was he valid there?
He's still pushing. I mean, he's past the crossover point.
I would agree.
If he's going to continue on with this lap, I mean, it'd be quicker for him to just get back to the line if he hasn't validated, rather than to return to the garage and go for another Joker. It is getting down to the wire, though. You don't have enough time to get that Joker in. I'd say it's really about 2 minutes, 30 seconds to go for that Joker. Again, going wide at the Dottinger. Brute will be the first of our pro drivers. He has to get it right at Tiergarten. Can't afford to get it wrong, as he would not have enough time to come back out for the Joker. Again, Brute the favorite heading into tonight. Aston Martin seemingly very strong later on in the season. And Aramich in that Aston Martin behind. Out for blood. These two were the top two in our pro practice.
Mitch has a
into Tiergarten. No brakes. No brakes coming into the kink. Now hard braking into Tiergarten. 2 tires on the inside curve. He's clean through. What will the time be? Cross the line for Brute. 8:13.4. That's
wow.
2 seconds quicker than he ran in free practice. And Aramich 3.2 seconds off the pace. We've got a few more pro drivers coming in. Griffith got it wrong at Tiergarten. We said it could go wrong. Griffith got it wrong. Platypus across the line. What will it be? Second for Platypus, 1.1 seconds away from Brute. And they are still going. Hopefully they've got enough fuel to go for one more lap. Ouroboros is not going to qualify. And I believe Ouroboros is leading the championship.
Correction, Prieto would be leading.
Drop races. It is Prieto leading, but they are close to each other. And Ouroboros, at least from the graces of the starting order, will be a bit further up. Aramich P3. Nate goes up to P4.
Wow, Nate.
And Nate with an absolutely monstrous performance. Fourth place for Nate right now. That is a definitely commendable effort. I told you the Mustang is a bit stronger here at the Nordschleife, but Nate, living in the shadow of his teammate Sylph, is now going to step into the spotlight in the top 5 in qualifying. And that lap is that's no sit down and whine about it lap. That is a very respectable lap here around the Nordschleife.
Brad, you're wondering my favorite. It has to be Brute. The guy's he's in a whole new level of form. He looks good, and Platy's quick too. I think it's Brute's though tonight.
Peach will be the first across the line to end the qualifying on merit. And is it valid for Peach? It is. It's good enough for fourth, knocking Nate down to P5. And while we do wait for our field to come through, we'll go ahead and take a look at our AM field. It is a bit lower showing in AM, but Shuby P1, Scroll P2, Cabe P3, Sierra P4, Clint P5, Lingard P6, Jones Zoanon P7, Jones P8, Christian BP9, Elmo P10, Lynch P11, Silva, AM Championship leader, starting P12 at the back of the grid.
Unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. Out of Tiergarten, across the line, onto the GP Strecca for Dingham, currently P17, no time set. Time set jumps up to P9. So now you're starting to see where our AM field is sitting, how many pros they are going to have between themselves and their competitors. A 91 of Phoenix Gecko in another fitting livery, the Rova BMW.
Real shame for
Remind me
Silva.
what team?
He can run an 819 on the bot. That's huge.
Yes, Ouroboros not going to qualify, but he will start at the furthest ahead of the no time set driver, so he's at least got that going his way. Phoenix Gecko goes P1 in the BMW at 811.1. Absolutely flying for the BMW driver and fairly new to GoFAST Racing.
That might be your God lap, Retro.
That might be the God lap that I was looking for. 2.3 seconds the gap now. Marvy in the Aston Martin. An Aston Martin hopeful, an Aston Martin loyalist, I should say. Drives Aston Martin in very many different series. Through Schwalbenschwanz, absolutely pushing it. Two wheels for just a second. Two wheels coming into Flonsgarten, two wheels coming through Schwalbenschwanz. And now up into the Kleine Carousel. In a bit of a trouble point here, also has the number 62 BMW of Francisco behind, and then the 993 Porsche of Tipper. Remember, Tipper was the one to watch. Was quickest in practice. With the two Aston Martins immediately behind. We'll see what Marvy is able to bring to the line. Currently P18, no time set. Phoenix Gecko with the time to beat, 8:11.1. Up the kink into Tiergarten. Again, we have seen it. A touch of the brakes there. We did not see Brute or Aramich get on the brakes into Tiergarten. That may lose a little bit of time for Marvy here, but at least it does seem to be valid. Across the line for Marvy, what'll it be? Good enough for P9. What about for the BMW of Francisco? We saw the BMWs very quick here. Phoenix Gecko and a BMW on top. P11 for Francisco. What about the Porsche of Tipper? A lot of skill, big shoes to fill when you run a Manti livery. What is it for Tipper? Is it top? No. P3 will start at the front in the second row. But no pole for Manti on this day. Brute still back out there. Brute and Mitch, one behind the other. Wonder if Brute is maybe a touch slower on this lap. Aramich is not far behind.
Or Mitch is flying, let's hope.
Or Mitch is flying. That could be the case as well. Still, those Aston Martins, 2 wheels off the ground. Most of the cars will be 2 wheels off the ground, but it seems like the Aston Martins are flying just a little bit more than any other car through Flonsgarten. Down through the S's. Into Schrabenstrans. And then the Kleine Carousel. Can all go wrong here. Gets spit out a bit early. I don't know how much that is going to hurt the time. Well, don't know exactly how much time Mitch has gained there either. Now on to the Dottinger. Cleaner exit of that final turn just before you get onto the Dottinger. Now hammer down as fast as you can go. You're pretty much going to be pushing as fast as your machine is capable. Come up the hill, you will lose a couple kilometers an hour. But you'll gain it all right back as you go down the hill into the kink. And here you really hit your top speeds, but it's very tricky. You've got the 2 kinks here at the top of the hill before you come into Tiergarten, and no brake lights from Brute. It did seem a bit sketchy. But pushing. You hear the traction control taking effect as he comes out of Tiergarten onto the GP Strecke across the line. What'll it be for Brute? Is it good enough for pole? No. 3/4 of a second, the margin. Extremely tight here at the Nordschleife. And Mitch, I think a slight improvement, but no improvement in position. And they will set their time. Still a few more to come through. Will this be our first and only Ferrari to qualify? Guzman coming out onto the GP Strecke across the line. What will it be for Guzman? In 3rd place for Guzman. That is an extremely good effort. And that would be a rare opportunity for a podium in pro for Guzman. Salinas a bit squirrely coming out of the final corner across the line. Stays P10. At least he's consistent on his lap time. The 114 Mustang of Harrell. And Harrell making a return here to GoFAST Racing. I don't think we have seen him all too much recently. A lot of breaks coming into Tiergarten though. That may hurt the speed being carried. Onto the GP Strecke and across the line for Harrell. Just looking to get on the board. It's good enough for P12 for Harrell. The 64 of Bird goes P10.
Griffith not set a lap either.
What was that?
Is Griffith still out there?
Griffith is not still out there. Tychopath is still out there, and Tychopath is going to be the final driver to set a lap.
Huge opportunity for Mitch to put some points in here. Absolutely huge.
And also, Thank you to Ib Schofield Racing for the raid earlier. We were in the heat of qualifying, so if you guys wouldn't mind throwing Ib Schofield Racing a follow, again, thank you for the raid. And Tycho Path P21. And it is Phoenix Gecko in the Rova BMW that is going to be your pole sitter. We'll take a look at our qualifying order. Phoenix Gecko P1, Brute P2, Guzman P3, Tipper P4, Platypus P5, Midge P6, Peach P7, Nate P8, Salinas P9, Bird P10, Shuby P11, Marvy P12, Harold P13, Scoliosis P14, Francisco P15, Dingham P16, Cabe P17, Sierra P18, Clint P19, Goose P20, Tycho Path P21, Ouroboros P22, Lingard P23, Griffith P24, Zoanon P25, Jones P26, Christian B P27, Elmo P28, Lemon P29, Lynch P30, and Silva P31.
Wow, what an interesting qualifying. I just can't believe how much opportunity Mitch has. There's nobody in the standings near him. I mean, Brute's kind of near him. Otherwise, he's got so much runway. He just got to finish, get a lot of points, and get the hell out of here. What an opportunity! And I don't know how Euro and Griffith are gonna do this. Do they pit early? Do they try to fight through the field and die? Euro has the opportunity to drop a race, so I think he'll be aggressive. It'll be interesting.
Essentially, go for all or nothing, you would think, from Ouroboros tonight.
Yeah, because he can just drop it, and he'll be very solid at Silverstone. You can't die there. You might die at Imola, but you won't. So he's got to do something aggressive, and if he fails, he fails. So I could see an early pit for him. That would be my move, I would imagine. I just don't know how the tires will hold up. The 1 hour races really changes everything.
So, looking at the chat, it does seem like we may have a slight issue. We may need a server reset, but I think they also may be looking at custom grid.
Uh-oh.
Also, Slap, you sound perfect, just so you know.
Yeah, I think we have a full formation lap. That is awful.
Your mom saying, "Am I at Augusta?" No, the Masters is over.
I'll be Jim Nance.
The Irishman got his green jacket yesterday, and I don't play golf, but I do sit on my behind on the couch drinking beer and watching other people play golf sometimes.
You know, we might have some trouble here, Retro. We might have to talk for 25 minutes for this out lap. So I guess we have a full formation lap, which is really unfortunate. And Trixit is somewhere warm and sunny. I don't think he's available, and he won't have server data information to reset the grid. So you're going to get to know me over this very long lap. Shit.
So are we doing the full formation lap?
Unfortunately, I think we have to, because we have no way of doing it.
Well, if that's the case, I will say we will have very warm tires. And I hope if anybody is on an alternate strategy to try and pit early, that they have enough fuel to get to the end. I hope everybody has enough fuel.
There might be an opportunity that Dingham can do it. Yeah, that was my biggest fear, is the fueling situation. I mean, you just come in a lap earlier, would you not?
Well, not if you were only planning on running one lap of fuel before you came in.
But yeah, Euro is screwed, but we kind of knew that when he came P45th and not setting a lap. He shouldn't have done that, but yeah.
So, we will find out throughout this lap what exactly our verdict will be.
Yeah, so we've got some guys in the background digging up some stuff. I'd still go out there, boys.
So we'll at least treat it like a lap. Does seem to be that there are a few in the pits or not rolling. I think everybody is expecting a server reset. We're just going to have to work on it, and
No, this is so unfortunate.
it is very unfortunate, but it is okay. Things happen, and we will get it taken care of. BMW at the front. We have not seen too much BMW success throughout this season.
Gecko at the season opener in Olton was quick. He had a turn one incident, but yeah.
Was Gecko in the BMW at that point? Because I want to say that he may have been in a mid-engine car, but he may have been in a BMW.
I think he was. I think he might have. I don't know if that livery looks familiar. I just know that the Griffin went at it, turn one there.
Now, Tipper in a Manti liveried Porsche 993, or Porsche 990. Sorry, he's got a 993 on there. Porsche 992 GT3R. Does he go to channel his inner Kevin Estre with some early overtaking? He's very quick, we know that. We don't exactly know how aggressive he is.
What's the over-under on this out lap? It's 840. So let's say this out lap takes what? What do they limit the speeds on the out lap?
They
I don't know if they
really don't, I don't think. I mean, if we had our leaders pick up the pace a little bit, it may bring the field behind them, but other than that, it's kind of somewhere around 70 kilometers an hour, which is
1/4 of
not very quick.
Yeah, third. A 24-minute out lap.
That would be a very long outlap, and someone has just gone off there. Don't know exactly who it was, and there is the server reset. So we are going to get a reset. I think we may have been able to figure it out. So
Looks
stick
like
around with us for just a moment.
Dingham. Trix is available in the. Oh no, that's a lie. He's not.
So we will have everything sorted. Just a minor hiccup.
Yeah, going back to what would you is Euro's play to? I don't know. I don't think you can run a whole. The tires will fall off in an hour here, won't they?
I would say, well, I mean, you may want to pit somewhere around 3 or 4 laps in. But I would say, with the speed that Ouroboros has, he goes for it early. If you are able to really position yourself right, you can gain a ton of positions early on in the race.
4 out of the top 6 guys in the standings. I don't even there's so much opportunity here for points. If Brute can jump up a ton. Euro has to stay in it. He has to race. Griffith has to stay in it. He has to race. They may look like they're out of it, but they're really not.
So server is reset. We are going to hop back in. So it does seem to be that everybody was able to get it sorted. Thank you to the GFR team. And we will just be waiting. There is going to be some practice out there, but no one setting a valid lap. And while we do wait for the server to get situated, we do get some drifting from Peach in the Mustang. That is just a bit of a netcode thing when you first join the server. It's a good thing that you can't see that. Now you can.
It looks like Lingard in the chat disconnected. Was he able to get back in? That would be pretty sweet for him.
I believe we do have everyone. Yes, we do have Lingard. He's in. He's
Perfect.
actually
That worked out.
currently sitting on pole.
Ooh, good for Lingard.
So you're asking my opinion on the strategy. What would your opinion on the strategy be? I know you're seeming to lean more to the side of pit early and run laps in open air.
Yeah, depth here
Would
is...
you not try to capitalize on early mistakes?
There's just too much of a risk of being collected here. But unfortunately, the 1 hour race, you can go 45 minutes at Kailani and you're okay. But an hour here, you're not going to be able to grip up. You're going to make mistakes inevitably. I just hope he knows this race is not over. Yeah, no one in the whole field this race is over. You have to survive an hour here. So be sensible. I just don't know how you pass here safely.
Well, you do go back to the ever popular clip of Kevin Estre down the Dottinger with his pass in the grass. Do you think we're going to see a pass in the grass tonight?
You know, I'm thinking about Brute. I think Brute thinks this is his race. Brute's smartest move is to lean back. If you look at those quality order, there was maybe 6 or 7 guys who had that raw pace to win. You just sit back there and you maximize your point opportunity, but I don't know how hard you have to push. That's how I won 3 championships. You never, unless you can lead the race, it's hard.
Well, that's the thing. Does he have the opportunity for that door to the lead to open early on in the session? It is possible.
Yeah, and the other option is you load up a little bit more fuel and you just do one more lap on low fuel and hope that'll do it. The overcut, would it not be advantageous here?
Well, it depends on where you come out. As long as you can come out, it is not a long pit stop. But say you're in Ouroboros' position, he's going to be a bit further up the order. If there's a massive incident that puts some guys a couple minutes back behind and he comes out into a pool of slower guys, that is not going to help him whatsoever. And we are good to go. The field is set with short formation laps, so we survive on to...
Well, what's the Chad
race.
thinking? What do we think in Chad? Is this Brute's opportunity? Is Mitch in a good spot? Does Euro have a chance? Shuby's in a weird one. Shuby for the AMs being dead in the middle there will be very interesting to watch how he does that. He just needs to maximize his points. He doesn't have to race Marvy. It'll be interesting.
Tell you what, we are actually going to we'll set up a poll and let everybody bet those channel points that they probably don't really have anything to do with.
Yeah, you thinking who wins? Who's your favorite? I mean, Gecko should be the favorite. The guy just put together the fastest lap, the bot scene since we've been tracking over the last month with these guys. I like where Platty is. Platty, I think he won here last time. He loves it here. Like Mitch loves it here. And then the Tippers and Guzman are these wild cards where I don't know how they race, and that'll be interesting for Platty and Mitch because they don't know how these guys will race. Will they be defending? Will they be? No. Guzman must be thrilled where he is, but Guzman's quick, so Guzman wants a podium too.
So I'm just going to throw a few up there. So I've got our top 10, or most of our top 10 up there, and then I'm throwing anyone else.
Yeah, throw in a wild card like
So you guys will have 10 minutes to put your predictions in. You can bet all of your channel points if you want to that prediction. Who do you think will win the race? This is going for the overall.
Oh, this is cool. I think Platty voted for himself right away. That's typical Platty.
11,970 channel points to himself. I'd say that's a pretty confident bet.
I like the confidence, though. That that makes me almost think, geez, I got to go with them. But honestly, I'm going with Mitch. Like, this is an hour, and Mitch in it for an hour, but he wasn't that fast. I don't know. Oh, I can split up how much points I give.
We'll see if the 12,000 points on Platypus ends up paying out. We are just a few seconds away from engines fired tonight, and then we will take the green flag momentarily. Thank you, everybody who is tuning in. Slap, can you bet your children's college fund on the race winner tonight? Ormiston
you know
is
what I'm going to
asking.
tell you? I'm going to tell you that this is going to be a wild race. Like, you look at the top three; these guys are a little unfamiliar territory. Brute is not proven himself. Hipper, I don't know. And then you run into some of these names, right? Like Platty, Mitch, Peach. Then there's Nate. This is a very atypical top 10. I'm looking for some excitement. Something strange could happen tonight. You see Marvy down in P12. He could do something huge. It'll be interesting.
But now, there's a race winner.
My kid's college fund, no.
There is a race winner in that top 10 that is sitting kind of under the radar. And that is the number 64 Ferrari of Bird. Won last season at Laguna Seca. Extremely young driver. He is the youngest driver on the grid.
Where's Bird coming from, Retro?
Don't exactly remember. I know that he lives in the United States.
But
he is one to watch. He's been with GFR not for very long. He has not been racing for very long either. But he is one of those young prodigies
that is
absolutely blistering on track. We line up 15 rows back.
I just can't wait to see Brute the first little bit. What's he going to do? Even on the GP circuit, is he going to be hungry? Is he going to sit back? Gecko's got the pace, so to have him in your mirrors, the first lap is going to be awful too. I don't know.
Brute has the inside. Phoenix has the outside, but has the track position a bit further ahead. Are the tires warm enough? Are the nerves there? Tipper nosing up the inside, Mitch in tow, Nate in tow. Is it going to be a massive dive bomb? Defensive line of the inside is Brute. Green flag we go. Phoenix Gecko gets caught out massively, and they line up the inside before. 3 wide as they come in behind. Brute will take the lead, and that is the 93 Ferrari of Guzman, who wants to go for it. A bit of contact in between. Phoenix Gecko elbows out, getting second place back at least, and now Guzman swallowed up. Tipper almost going around. There is a bit of miscommunication. I believe we also have a couple starting from the pit lane. I say a couple, one of those is Ouroboros just now rolling out of the pit lane. He's the only one starting in the pit lane. And Brute has found himself in the lead, far away from the rest of the field. Tipper found himself in second, but then he finds the gravel and will drop back side by side with Mitch as they come through the Schumacher S. I think he is going to have to relinquish position to Mitch. No, they'll go side by side through Schumacher. Front fender to rear quarter panel. It's a deadly combo, but they survive for now. Is it going to be 3 wide into Ravenel? No. Tipper wants the inside, stays side by side with Mitch as they run through Sector 2 of the GP circuit. Still side by side as they come out of Bielstein. Now Mitch has the inside out of Bielstein. Tipper lines up behind to get into the slipstream. And it is Peach immediately behind that wants to get into the ordeal as well. Phoenix at the front, extending the lead. Or sorry, not extending the lead. Brute at the front,
Great
extending the
start
lead.
for Brute.
Phoenix under attack from Guzman. Extremely good start from Brute. And no, Tipper gets it all wrong again. Relinquishes more positions. And now, sideways, I think there was a touch between himself and Salinas. Goes into the wall. Just trying to scrape together whatever he can. But Tipper,
he's seeing black
seemingly
now.
falling apart a bit.
What a start for Brute, and Mitch is in a good position to attack. Gecko's got to get Guzman off him, but it's looking like a great opening lap for Brute. He'll build a little position here.
Bird started P10, finding himself a good ways back. See as we come to our first timing line, it will be at Arenberg when the field will fully update. And Guzman in that Ferrari is no slouch. In the slipstream, Platypus as well, right there behind. We've got 3 cars here that are going to be racing for P2, and Brute in the Aston Martin will just try and pull away the best that he can into Schwedenkreuz. Things can go very awry. Guzman wanted to go for the move into Arenberg. It doesn't really materialize.
Guzman has got to let
Tipper is now got to find his way back to the front. What was that?
If Guzman works with Gecko, they can catch Brute, but if they're fighting, Brute's going to walk away with this race.
At least it may seem that way. Guzman is all over the rear bumper, though. The margins are tight as they go a bit further back. Peach has a queue behind himself, and that is Salinas and Nate. P6, 7, and 8 there on screen, and Tipper extremely quick, but just got caught out a little bit at the beginning of the race. Now with some room to run, may be able to claw together some positions. We do have an incident up ahead, and that is Mitch in the Aston Martin, and a return to garage for Mitch. That is not going to be the race start that he was looking for.
Contact with anyone? Did you catch that, or just on his own?
I did not. I just saw yellow flags, and I don't really see. I don't see anyone else in the pit lane. There is someone else in the pit lane, the 444 Mercedes of Elmo, but I don't believe those 2 drivers are related in their reasons for being in the garage. And Ouroboros, the one to watch, as Silva, and I believe that may be Lynch up ahead, are side by side. Silva, the AM leader, as no, the 427 of Nate, big incident, Nate. And I believe that may have been Shuby. Shuby, big damage involved, and we may have a large incident. Lynch trying to make it through, Zoanam trying to make it through. And it will be a return to garage for Shuby. Clint just barely made it through there. A very slight amount of contact, Zoanam as well, and things are starting to go
That was my fear for Shuby.
That may have been some major damage for Clint, and it does seem to be at the front of that Mustang. That is not going to help the top speed. Checking back in with our top 4, Brute continues to grow the gap ahead. And it is Phoenix, Guzman, and Platypus fighting for those spots on the podium. Peach ahead of Salinas. Tipper now joining that battle in the space where that was the Mustang of Nate, and absolutely gutted for Nate, as it was pretty much as good of an opportunity as he could have got throughout this season so far. Was an absolutely momentous opportunity for points tonight, and it just all gets thrown away. But such is the green hell. It earns its name. It's definitely showing us why here tonight.
Mitch is debating quitting. I don't know, is he still out there, Retro?
I believe he still is. He is no longer. I say he's no longer with us. He has not passed away. He just has. He just has left the session, so that will be a drop race for Mitch, and more incidents behind. That is the 114 of Harrell. No, it's not. There is a 1-1 car somewhere that had gone off. I'm not sure exactly which one it was. And we've got a large gap of cars here in AM. Harrell has found himself in the middle of it. Sierra just ahead, Christian B. Clint leading this group, and then Jones immediately behind. This is a large group of cars, and Harrell just trying to find a way past. Coming into the Kleina Carousel, and Phoenix has broken free of the grasp of Guzman. I think Guzman may have made a mistake. Platypus has gone through as well. Guzman demoted down to P4. Peach P5. I'd say Salinas is P6, but no, that is Tipper that is up there. Has leapfrogged both of those drivers, and then Salinas actually, I think, may have had a mistake. That may have been the car that I was looking for. Salinas is back down around Silva. And Silva and Ouroboros are both trying to work their way up through the field. Don't see any damage on Salinas' McLaren, but he has lost quite a bit of track position. And the two championship leaders look to slice through the field together. We'll see if Ouroboros gets past Silva here. We'll also see what their strategies are. What was that against Slapshot?
I think Silva, Silva's not racing Euro. I don't know why he doesn't just let him by and try to. He's only got like 7 AMs ahead of him. He's got a lot of points he can get just by showing up.
And who is that rolling out of the pit lane? It's not Christian B. It is Nate. Nate has just come out of the pit lane. He actually, no, it's not Nate. There's another Mustang. I think it may have been Lynch that just came out. No, it was Shuby that just came out of the pit lane. And what has happened to Guzman? Off at one of the S's. And now will fall down the order. Actually, no, I think had gained enough track position. Loses some time on track, but will not lose the position.
This should allow Phoenix to reel and prove.
Does have the pressure released, and the gap between the two does seem to be staying just above that 2-second mark, as we are just now 10 minutes into this race. We'll start to find our battles on track. Smooth Operators teammates, there should be no reason for those two to battle each other. And Griffith does seem to have a clean car. Very, very quick driver. If he can bring some pace together, we may see Griffith moving up through the order. Now this is going to be a battle to watch. This is the battle for the AM lead. And just ahead, battle between Francisco and the BMW and Yolo Lemon in the McLaren. Francisco gets it a bit wrong into the chicane, and Yolo Lemon will go up the inside at Nordcare and take the position away from Francisco. That is for P10. Scoliosis in the AM lead, and that is your entire AM podium.
Cabe is
immediately behind.
Huge point for
Cabe there in P2. And looking back from the BMW of Scroll, you have the Aston Martin of Cabe and the Mercedes of Lingard. Out of Hatzenbeck, up towards Fluke Plots. Things can get very tricky here, but also, as long as Cabe stays tucked in behind Francisco, Cabe will be in the slipstream. It does seem to be there may have been a bit of a lift from Cabe coming through Fluke Plot says you do have a bit of reduced aerodynamics on the front end of your car, but it does seem to be that Cave has reeled all that speed back in at the end of the straight. They will continue to lap. But no, Cave fully in the grass and majorly bouncing. He is going to relinquish the position to Lingard, and now Lingard will be in the second spot. And unfortunate, we have had some early pit lane takers. Harrell comes into the pit lane. Salinas still in the pit lane. Ouroboros has also come into the pit lane and is clear. So Ouroboros taking your strategy slap. But Zoenom went to go on that early strategy as well and gets that 30-second stop-and-go penalty for speeding in pit lane. That is just a brutal penalty to get here at the Nordschleife.
Yeah,
for the Porsche on Peach.
Doesn't look like Phoenix is reeling it in. Maybe Brute's the clean air. He's feeling good. He's looking behind him. He's seeing Mitch is out. I don't know.
Now, you may have just seen that, but Tipper is pushing that Porsche. He was completely sideways.
I did see that.
Coming through Ex-Mula.
He had some damage. Think about first lap there. He took a few little blows to the wall.
It doesn't seem to be affecting the handling of that Porsche very much. He has clawed his way back up through the order and is running in the top 6, and I believe qualified P3 or P4, qualified on the second row. And I don't think he can be counted out whatsoever just yet.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Ferrari of Bird clawing his way up the order as well, has wedged himself in that AM battle for the lead. Just ahead of Lingard in P2, just behind Scroll, who is the AM leader. And I guess Salinas is just going to sit in the pit lane. Salinas may be done. Has been in the pit lane for quite a long time, and I think it may be a retirement for Salinas. Either that or trying to repair the car currently. And in traffic, let's go ahead and go on board with the Ferrari 296 of Bird. Chasing down the AM race leader and his next competitor, both in BMWs. And Bird does seem to be extremely cautious heading into Hoagt. And oh no, Guzman off and around at Flonskarten. Sorry, that was not Flonskarten, that's Brunchen. And Guzman is going to have some damage to repair on that Ferrari. And thank you for the subscription. Has 8 months. You are one of my biggest supporters. We will talk to you about the Nordschleife. Francisco, we were just on board with Bird looking at the BMW of Francisco, and Francisco is backwards at Eschbach trying to get that car turned back around. And just waiting for the opportunity to open. It does, but very far down the grid and a little bit too much trying to get it turned back around. Now, this is what you were looking at, Slap. That gap between Brute and Phoenix. 1.7 now, and I think it's even smaller than that. I don't think Phoenix is quite in. I don't think Phoenix is quite in slipstream range.
He's in his head, though. That's
but he
sure.
is applying the pressure. He is definitely in his head. That is correct. Just over a quarter of the way into this race.
We always watch Brute from behind, and he keeps pushing, but I'm curious to see with someone behind him how his driving style may change. He looks pretty confident.
Looking back at the car just behind, it is Platypus. And Platypus has a bit of a margin to close. Phoenix and Brute at the line, 1 second the gap between each other, and yes, has good ears. That is Slap in the booth. Battle between Tipper and Peach coming into GP turn 1. Then Nordschleife turn 2, cutting through the S. Guzman in the Ferrari comes into the pit lane. He's going to have some damage to repair on that Ferrari. We'll see how much of that damage he does repair.
That looks like a lot of damage.
See exactly how much long it is, or how much time it is. Whether or not he goes to repair it. And no, this is big development. Ouroboros has had an off. Does he have any damage though? He's got a little bit of damage on the front, but pushing too hard, I think. And Ouroboros had gone around. That is exactly not what he needs to do when he is trying to claw his way back, race this race from behind, hit early, and try and keep this car out and alive as long as possible. That is not going to help his tire life whatsoever.
Interesting development. Gecko is on 51 liters for his best lap. Brute has gone low on fuel. So it looks like Gecko might have a little bit of a higher fuel load, and he's quicker.
Is he going to save time in the pit lane by not fueling? I don't think so.
No, but he's Brute's going to have a second stint that's much longer with higher fuel, and Gecko will have a shorter second stint. So it's interesting that Gecko's faster right now. He's got more fuel.
Francisco coming into the pit lane with a lot of damage to repair.
For those
let's get an onboard.
Let's
get an onboard with the Porsche of Tipper. It's all good. And the gap between these two was a lot closer, but it seems that it has actually grown a bit. But not through there, through fluke plots. It seems to be that Peach had a terrible run through, and that gap is going to close right back up. I don't think Tipper will be close enough to go for the move into Arenberg. That sequential transmission, those straight cut gears. And you may think you're watching a N24 broadcast as you see a Manti Rello Porsche. Now you don't typically see them chasing down Mustangs into Foxhole. But Tipper, as I said, has big shoes to fill with that Manti livery on the Porsche, and it seems to be that he is doing everything he can to fill those shoes. Slap, if you were in the Porsche, what concerns would you have with tire wear? When I do drive, which is not very much, I do typically drive the Porsche, and it is going to be a bit more hard on those rear tires. It will rotate better, as we did see that coming into fluke plots.
I mean, just look at the leaderboard. There's one Porsche. That's it. I mean, I don't think this is a lovely place for it. He's doing wonderful with a little bit of damage. His heart was out of his chest the first lap. It looked like he didn't know where he was. He's on for top 5 for sure. I mean, look at the gap behind him. So he's got to keep that in mind. He's got a lot of time behind him.
2 tires in the grass coming out of hit miss, and it doesn't seem to be that he is leaving anything on the table and is actually going a little bit off the table to try and find whatever time he can.
Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about the standings either, right? He's not a GFR. He just joined last week, so he wants to prove himself. So if I'm Peach, I'm thinking that, oh no, Peach might want to just let him by. I know that's controversial, but at the same time, you just don't want to die here.
You're saying Tipper may be going with the he has a wife and kids at home mentality.
Tipper's going. Tipper don't have to do anything. Tipper could die today and no one would know. You know, Tipper's new to us, right? Peach is trying to keep the standings alive for the season. You know, there's more to that. But Tipper, yeah, no kids, nothing. Just go for it, buddy.
Zoenom has cleared the 30-second stop-and-go penalty that he was given. And the 33, if I can find the 33, sorry, that is the 33 of Lingard, who was running P2 in AM, has had an incident and is in the pit lane. And that will put him at the back of the AM field.
That's a shame.
And it is going to be, it's actually a retirement from Lingard.
Look at James Earl Jones popping into that fight. That amateur fight is just as spicy as the one with the pros.
Hold on, Slap. Yep. Marvy off the track as well and into the pit lane. Marvy had a big incident as well, and that may be a retirement, may get it repaired and get back out there, but very unfortunate for Marvy. Was looking strong in the Aston Martin.
Take a look at Griffith, up to 6th place. I know he's got a giant gap. He'll chew that gap up. That's huge for the standings, what he's doing right now.
I think Nordschleife is more of a gamble for everyone. They'll try and gain whatever points they can this week, and well, if it goes bad, then so be it. Put it in the pit lane and retire, take the worst finish and use it as a drop race. But if you're in a position where maybe you don't have the drop race to use, and you've got all of these retirements all around you, well, at this point, it's just like picking dollars up off the ground. You are just going to be picking points up everywhere for every retirement ahead of you as long as you stay alive.
Oh, where Brute is right now in the standings, if he stays in first place, if he ends the way this is like, he's jumping up the table huge. Some guys don't have 2 drops. Like, Mitch couldn't afford this tonight. It's gonna hurt him hard. Actually, a brilliant.
There is a.
Sorry, Will.
There is a large gap in the standings. If anybody does need it, you are right. It is Griffith who is right there in the points.
I think Griffith is in the best position on the entire track right now. He's got 20 seconds in front of him. He has no pressure. He's got 6 behind him. He will be catching up to Tipper by the end of this race. He's in the best position right now.
Does need a lot of things to go your way, and Marvy reporting to the chat saying that he has died. Marvy, are you going back out or are you going to stay in the pit lane? You are right, and another development here. We were just on board with this group for a moment. Tychopath in there as well. Silva, the AM championship leader, around.
Oh, what a shame.
At Flonskarten.
He caught up too.
And yes, he did. He gained a massive amount of positions and is just going to give all of those back. A development here, Tipper into the pit lane. And is coming in all on his own. Where is he going to come out, though? Look a bit further behind. There are a lot of drivers back there. Guzman back out. Pit stop is cleared. And looking at the pit strategy there, Guzman is the furthest ahead of those drivers that have cleared a pit stop. Silva just ahead of Guzman. And while they are technically racing for position, I think Silva should allow Guzman to go by here, but Silva is not going to. And Silva goes a bit wide coming out of Schrabenschwanz, and Guzman will go on ahead. But Guzman furthest ahead of the drivers that have pitted. We'll see where that lines out when Tipper comes out of the pit lane, especially with Guzman having taken that damage, and Tipper is already rolling early. So there will be no swap of position between the two.
Brute didn't come in, and that's surprising. Brad picked that up on the chat. He was the lowest on track on fuel, next to Peach. Did Peach pit? No, they're both
Peach
out.
has not pit either.
They should be fine then. I can't imagine both of them making mistakes, Brad.
Now, they may be extremely calculated on their fuel. We do have a few more pit stops starting as we are just about halfway through. Tychopath comes in, Goose comes in. Goose with a lot of damage on that BMW. A BMW loyalist there. We've seen him run in the BMW quite a lot throughout GoFAST racing tenure.
Brute's got 14 liters of fuel. That seems a little low. What's a lap, roughly? Do you know?
I believe a lap is somewhere around 13.
Okay, he's calculated. He's got a CFA, CPA. He should know what he's doing. But he's the lowest on track.
So you're saying it's going to be in this lap for Brute, which does seem about right. There are majority of the field coming in now. How do you calculate your fuel coming out? Is it going to be a bit of an offhand calculation? Do you think he's going to be playing with that fuel counter coming down the Dottinger based on how much time is left in the race?
Curious why Phoenix loaded up with so much fuel. I mean, he's going to be light when these guys are heavy. So once Brute and Flatty come in, they're going to have high fuel loads. Phoenix will have clean air. He'll be light on fuel. His tires won't be torn up. I think it might be the right strap by Phoenix where he's sitting. The overcut should be more powerful.
Now, it could very well be that maybe he likes how that car feels with fuel better than without fuel.
Yeah, we should see what his quality run was, the God lap. Maybe he had, 100 liters in there. I don't know, but he's sitting pretty, I think.
Tipper with Jones coming by. Jones with Tipper coming by. Tipper absolutely flying in that Porsche. Tipper the furthest ahead of those drivers that have completed the pit stop.
Oh, he's got some air.
And he's got Jones in tow.
Guzman really fell back.
Guzman did, and I think he may have had to repair at least some mechanical damage. Not going to do too much for the cosmetic, as he said, don't care how it looks as long as it drives fine, put me back out there.
Might have misspoke. Griffith is not
on his own.
Sorry, Retro. Griffith is not closing in, and I thought he would be. That's interesting. But if you look at the point difference between fourth and fifth place in our standings table, it's not much. There's no need for him to push hard, really.
Well, you may have the drop races calculated there. If you take the drop races out, Griffith is actually in third.
Yeah, how I would play it is just run it out. If you survive, one of the four in front of him is probably going to die, and then you're looking at a lot of points. So you way maximize points in GFRs. You finish first or second or maybe even third. But other than that, you just need to be in the top five.
It doesn't matter. Griffith right here, just clean running by himself.
I like it.
May be really all he needs.
He can afford a drop too. He's got a 10-point race and a 17. He's sitting pretty.
2 races left in the season. And I'd say would you say this is probably one of the most competitive GFR seasons, or at least in terms of skill? I mean, I understand the Animus Racing guys they have put together an absolutely awesome effort this season. I believe they have clinched the team championship.
Oh, Paredo's on another level, and Euro, they're on their own level. But if you look at the top 10 guys, I'll run through them. Like Armiston is sitting in 9th in the standings right now. What tricks it?
Funny enough, just as we start talking about him, Prieto pops up in the Twitch chat. So
well, there he is.
Welcome, Prieto, reigning Season 4 champion.
What's up? The legend himself, Prieto, the best words of wisdom we've ever seen in GFR. Welcome to the chat. Your teammate is not doing well, to be short. He's not doing so well. He did not have a valid qualifying lap, and I mean, he's in 15th, you can see. And he'll gain maybe some spots with some who haven't pit.
And that is a big thing. He has pit early, had a slight mistake, just needs to continue churning out laps. But he is now on the back foot trying to work his way forward.
I'm happy he stuck around. I don't know why he started from the pits. Can you explain that one?
I would say it'd be more so just to try and avoid any collision that there may have been. And he also knew that he was going to come in and pit early. So he just wanted to run. It does give him a 30-second buffer between himself and the rest of the field, or at least from the leaders, with such a large grid, or a larger grid. Not the largest grid that we have seen. That grid well over 50 drivers taking the green flag.
He probably would have caught that pack pretty quick. So he was just hoping not to be sandwiched in some sort of trouble.
I believe so, as he would have been very well into the pack, and no discount to the other drivers there, but
Brute on fuel is going to be tight.
Ouroboros is typically at the top of the grid, and he would be around a lot of drivers that he doesn't typically race against. Go on board with Brute. I don't think he's going to run out. And it does seem to be a clean stop for Brute. Phoenix stays out. Again, we saw from his fuel load that he doesn't need to come in yet. Platypus also comes in, just follows immediately behind.
Peach should be in too.
Peach is coming in. And it will be very, very crucial. They are stopping very early for that pit line. Now, Griffith here. Does Griffith stay out, or does Griffith come into the pit lane as well? You think he may try and go for the undercut. It's a lot of time to try and gain, but you need every little bit of help that you can get. We'll see if Griffith is just on the strategy here, which it does seem to be that he is. Griffith is going to come in. It does seem to be. Same will YOLO Lemon in the McLaren. Bird in the Ferrari. We will wait and see, and it does seem to be Ouroboros off again, and now has a lot of damage on that Ferrari 296. And I think just pushing a bit too hard. I think he went around at the same exact spot as the last time, this time carrying a lot more damage though. That is not going to help the performance of the car.
Less than a liter, according to our best chat member, Brad. Less than a liter when he pitted, so he knew what he was doing.
Now 25 minutes left. It's an 8-minute lap. That's more than 3 laps worth. Do you think we have 4 laps to go? I mean, I don't think that Brute has enough time to sandbag a minute. I think we've got a 4-lap race left to go.
We should. Yeah, we should. Right? 8:15 times, that puts us at less than 25. Yeah. I hope they
that
fuel.
May play very well, or very much, into the fuel calculations. Bird comes into the pit lane. He's actually rolling out. YOLO Lemon with a long stop. Bird jumps YOLO, but I think YOLO repaired damage on that car. That would be the cause of why. All of these drivers just coming out with Guzman. Guzman comes out just ahead of YOLO Lemon, which should put Guzman in P6, I believe. Tipper has come through already.
That AM battle's still tight there, Retro.
The AM battle between Scroll and Jones, or the battle between Scroll and Cabe?
Just seeing them 3 all up together is, I think that's going to come down to the end. They're all they've been together all race.
They have. I think there is a bit more of a gap between Scroll and Cabe. Actually, no, it's not. I think that's just the deltas messing with me. They're not far apart from each other, so you are correct. That is a battle for the AM lead. Brute has come in and will need to continue to push. Do you think Phoenix stays out a long time? He does seem to be
that was
fairly
my thought
comfortable here.
I just don't know if he knows his tire wear. If he's low fuel, you would think that would make you a little quicker out here. He could go one more. He has clean air, so what's in front of him? Is he approaching anybody that he's got to deal with?
No, he's got clear skies ahead. The
Stay
424 Lexus of Jones around at Hatzenbeck, at the exit of Hatzenbeck. It doesn't seem to be much damage. It also still needs to come into the pit lane. But no, there is no one ahead of Phoenix. And 1 minute the gap between Brute and Phoenix. Does anybody know exactly how long it takes to get in and out of the pit lane here at the Nordschleife? It's not very long for such a long track. Platypus, big moment, and that is very unfortunate for Platypus. Major damage on that Mercedes, and I believe he is going to have to come into the pit lane and try and repair that.
Oh, Lord. This is what I was saying.
May not have to come in. I'm looking at the steering wheel. Can't quite tell if that steering wheel is straight or not. If it's straight, he may be okay. It does seem to be straight. It seems like the steering wheel may be straight, so he may be able to continue on with at least some speed. But now we know that he is going to be bleeding time to Peach and Tipper behind, as that incident will already be giving a lot of time back to both Peach and Tipper. This battle for P4 now turns into what will be a battle for P3. Twigman says 52 seconds for the pit lane, and it is a 60-second gap between Phoenix and Brute. Do you think Phoenix has Brute covered off?
Phoenix's last lap was an 8:16, which was very quick. I do think his strategy is making a lot of sense here. He also showed the pace in qualifying. It looks like the math is in his favor, yes. Just to put into perspective, last lap for Phoenix was an 8:16, Brute an 8:24, Vladdy an 8:24, Peach an 8:28. He's flying. Phoenix is flying.
Guzman chasing down the fellow Ferrari of Bird. This is for P8. And Griffith not far ahead for P7. Jones does have to come into the pit lane, and that will drop Jones out of that group. So this is really battles for P7 and 8 overall between these three. They do need to catch the 39 of Griffith up ahead. And just as I was talking about Platypus bleeding a lot of time, Tipper in the Porsche, Peach in the Mustang have caught up to the Mercedes of Platypus. And it's going to be fighting an uphill battle for Platypus to try and hold on to this position. He is not going to try and hold on to it at all. Yields to both Peach and Tipper. Tipper kind of caught Platypus in the wrong spot, but a big moment from Peach up ahead pulls Tipper right back into it. Tipper said it's not over till the fat lady sings, and he is right there for it. Tipper looking for a podium.
Boy, I wish his first lap went a little more clean.
He would definitely be up there. What kind of lap times has Tipper been running?
Let me take a look, Retro. His fastest lap is an 8:15, which puts him only 2 seconds off of Phoenix's best 8:13. He is fourth fastest on track behind Brute and Platy.
A bit of a moment there, as I think it's just pushing too hard. That gap grows by a lot. It was less than a second. I think 4 wheels off the ground coming into Flonskart. Now has a lot of work to do, though. and he is going to push everything that he's got. Phoenix, race leader, comes into the pit lane. Twig came back
this will be interesting.
and said that it may be closer to 60, right at 58. It could be side by side as they come out.
Wait.
Phoenix just getting stopped in the box. It's got to be a perfect stop. Brute is flying down the Dottinger up towards Tiergarten.
If you believe in the
It's
Delta,
not a long stop.
he brought that Delta down. I just don't know how accurate it is. He might have brought it down a couple seconds. So he's flying. Those tires are in their window now.
Bird made a mistake. It is now Lemon and Guzman in the battle for P8. Bird is still right there in it. Could be back in for position. It has to be a clean stop. It cannot have a penalty. Off the jacks, rolling. Brute just coming down the GP Strecka. Phoenix is rolling. Brute flies on by, and Phoenix is going to relinquish the lead.
Wow.
How far is Phoenix? I know that he is just itching for the pit limiter to get turned off, and it just does, but there is a large gap between these two now. And I think Brute just has to hold on to the end. Now, it does not mean that it is over. One mistake from either of these drivers would seal their fate.
I'm curious what kind of lap Brute just did. That was quick. Or something happened.
And I didn't catch it, but Ouroboros has retired. He got a lot of damage, had a bit of a moment at Flonsgarten, which we did see him make those mistakes at Flonsgarten a couple times. The Ferrari just seemed like it was not very happy there at Flonsgarten.
Vladdy in the pit. That's tough.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage to repair. Jones comes into the pit lane as well to get his stop out of the way. And judging by the battle that we just saw between Phoenix and Brute coming out of the pit lane, I believe that Jones is going to relinquish the position here to Scroll. Cave in the Aston Martin just behind. That may be a battle. That will be a battle for the race lead in AM. Clint has found himself in P3. We said that this is going to be a very good opportunity for him to scrape together some points. And is currently just sitting right on the cusp of his first ever AM podium.
Great job for Clint
Lynch,
with that beat up Mustang.
Lynch and Silva. Silva is going to find himself in P4. Will Clint be able to run away? It's quite a large gap between the two, but I think Silva is carrying a lot more speed than Clint. We'll see if Clint can hold on to that first ever podium. Yellow Lemon and Guzman continue on with their mid-engine battle. McLaren versus Ferrari. And Tipper did fall back a bit from Peach, but we have seen Peach start to have a few lower end or lower speed traction issues, especially coming here through Flugplatz. Tipper in the Porsche does seem to be able to get that Porsche to rotate a bit better through Flugplatz, which is one of the pros of driving the rear engine Porsche. It gets a lot of rotation. You just have to be able to manipulate that rotation as best as possible. Coming through Schwedenkreuz and then to Arenberg. Tipper again tries to get it slowed down. I think maybe carried a bit too much speed into Arenberg, and I think I heard two tires go off into the sand from the Porsche. Still trying to find pace to get back up with Peach. Again, this is no longer a battle for P4 or P5. This is a battle for the final spot on the podium, and I can tell you right now, Tipper wants to be on that podium here at the Nordschleife, especially running that Manti livery. Lynch and the Mustang comes into the pit lane, and that should be pretty much our last driver to get a pit stop out of the way. And it looks like it is going to be 2 to go, 1 to go at the line for Brute. Depends on when they come to the line. I don't know if he's got half a lap done already or not. It will be very close to the limit when Brute comes to the line. We are thinking about 8 minutes 15.
With that lead, though, he'll just shut her down.
Race pace. Do you think he has enough lead to make that the final lap? I don't think he has enough to shave it off. We'll have to wait and see when they come to the line how much time is left, because then we can really get a better picture. Just coming into the first carousel and pretty much the slower part of the track, as we are on board with Guzman and Yolo Lemon fighting into Versiphen. So these two have been battling for quite some time as well. Platypus comes back into the pit lane, and I think Platypus may be hanging it up for the night. And Platypus says that he is dead, and I think that may be the sign that he is done.
He was quick out there.
And as you said, previous race winner here at the Nordschleife, and I believe that was season 3, right?
Yeah. He was. That was when Mitch, I think, underfueled, if I'm correct, or a stop and go. An unfortunate event for Mitch, but Platty's been quick. Tough break for him tonight.
And we have lost a large portion of the grid, but it is characteristic of the Nordschleife.
You can see why Prieto had the luxury of taking tonight off, just with how he set up the season. He didn't bother. Probably was lapped at Silverstone all week. I don't know, but good for him.
Yeah, relying on a good result here at the Nordschleife is like relying on a roulette wheel to seal your fate.
But this is so Brute. This is like season 5 halfway through Brute, where it just doesn't seem like that stuff. He doesn't think like that. He just puts the car out. We got a battle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is... Guzman got it wrong coming into the carousel. Yolo Lemon did not get it wrong in the carousel and was able to just put that McLaren up the inside and take the position away. And no, Yolo Lemon loses it all on his own, pushing a bit too hard in defense. And Yolo Lemon is going to drop far down the order, at least not too far in terms of position. Bird in the 64 Ferrari goes on by. And I don't know, that was a very hard impact from Yolo Lemon. But it does seem to be the steering wheel is straight, so he doesn't have too much damage. Now, Prieto is pulling the retro skipping Snetterton strat. Snetterton was my drop race, just so you guys know. It was written in the contract that way.
Yeah, Prieto is sort of mentioning he might have to miss another race, which would be music to Brute's ears and to everyone else who got Euro's year. I mean, that's music to my ears. That's it's an opportunity for points.
I don't think he's missing it. I think he is. He's just not going to have much time to practice, which it's Prieto. Probably doesn't need much time to practice.
No, he could arrive and drive. Everyone could arrive and drive at Silverstone. It's such a staple.
We're going to go for 2 more laps. Does everyone have enough fuel?
I'll take a look at that, Retro.
8 minutes 30 left. 15-second gap between Brute and Phoenix. When they cross the line, I would say it's probably more so like 8:45, 8:50 left on the clock. Brute does not have that much margin to try and burn.
Yeah, Brute just ran an 8:12, so if you thought he was slowing down, he just put down the fastest lap, so he's feeling very good.
But how much fuel does he have left?
More than enough.
Okay.
We won't. It doesn't appear there'll be any trouble. Your lowest would be Griffith with 27. He'll be fine. I can't believe he went purple there with a 15-second lead. Good for him.
Going with the Verstappen strategy of not sitting down when you're at the top, just continue to push, 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 push. As the Nordschleife likes to bite when you least expect it, and if he can build himself as much margin as possible, not get lenient on the time, will save him the trouble should he ever come to any trouble. Tycho Path and Jones with a bit of an incident between those two for P12 and 13. And this may help Clint big time.
Clint.
If Jones has damage or is just going to be losing time, Clint may be able to get back into the podium positions, but he has to catch that Lexus and McLaren just up ahead.
Something to watch. Clint's best lap is an 8:41, so he's not necessarily flying, but he's doing it, and he's not doing it pretty. Look at that car.
Tipper still trying to catch the Mustang of Peach. And Tipper has to be right at that tire fall-off zone in that Porsche. Porsche has a more dramatic tire fall-off than any other car on the roster. But it is manageable. You just have to be able to shift your driving of the car. It also has one of the greatest changes in handling with fuel, as it has that front fuel tank with a rear engine. As the car uses up its fuel, the handling model of that car changes quite a bit. You may like the way the car drives at the beginning of the race. You may hate the way it drives at the end. You may be the complete opposite of that.
Doesn't seem phased.
And no, it does not seem phased as of right now. And took out half a second on that gap between himself and Peach. Again, as we have said, one mistake from either pretty much seals their position away. But if they are able to just continue pushing, if Tipper is able to find just a little bit more margin on Peach, we will have a battle for the podium at the end of this race. Jones with the 970 of Clint. I think Clint is not quite going to be able to catch up at this rate. But any more mistakes from Jones would open up the door for Clint to get back up there in that podium spot. But as of right now, Jones holding on to that last podium spot in AM. Scroll and Cade, the battle between those two is not over either. The gap right at 2 seconds between the two. And they have just been running, not necessarily nose to tail, but just within pressure zone of each other for the entirety of the race.
This is going to put Brute into a very, very good position in the standings. Very good.
He will jump up a good bit, but I don't know. Well, I guess it technically would put him. It would put him at 175 points, tied for Griffith right now. Albeit Griffith is going to earn some points tonight, if I'm correct. So Griffith should stay in that third place position, at least with drop races not calculated.
Yeah, I'm looking at the drops. He's going to pass me. He's going to pass Mitch. He's going to pass Euro. He's going to pass Sil. He might be top 3 in the standing. Him and Griffith are going to be eating tonight. This is huge for them.
Has Brute missed a race so far? Does he have a race dropped?
Yeah, so Masano in the wet, he had 1 point. And he's got, in Coda race 1, he has 11 points. So he can't afford any mistakes. But otherwise, he's got a decent season. Surprisingly, for his race's pace, he hasn't put enough points together. But after tonight, he has.
Okay, it is getting very tight between Tipper and Peach. We are about to reach a climax here in this battle. It's either going to result in the overtake or it's all going to fall apart. And Peach is pushing that Mustang, Tipper is pushing that Mustang of Peach. And Tipper wants to get by. Now, if you're Tipper, if I'm Tipper, I'm going to sit behind and wait. I'm not going to go for this overtake until we get onto the Dottinger.
Yep.
I'm just going to try and pass on Slipstream. The last thing you want to do is get past the Mustang and then just give that position right back as its superior top speed goes to work down the Dottinger.
This will be interesting to watch.
Again, superior rotation from the Porsche. All Tipper has to do is be right on the bumper of that Mustang as they come out of the final corner just before the Dottinger. Out of the Kleine Carousel, things pretty similar between the two. If anything, the Mustang is getting the benefit there. It has to be perfect for Tipper here. Rotating, he does get the better rotation, and he's got the momentum right up behind the Mustang. Tipper wants to go alongside. Now he knows that Mustang is going to pull on ahead. As it does, he can then sit back in the tow. We are on the final lap of the race with a minute left to go. Now Tipper is able to just ride in that slipstream. And now the opportunity may open. Side by side as they come up into Tiergarten. Does Tipper go for the move? He doesn't quite go for the pass in the grass with that Grello livery. And into Tiergarten, they just stay one behind the other, nose to tail. Peach will go defensive into GP turn 1. Side by side across the line, 88 thousandths of a second between the two. And does Tipper go for the lunge? No, he goes to set up the long way around the outside. He wants to get alongside with the nose in at turn 2. Now, he doesn't get the nose in, but Peach had to kind of go the long way around the outside. Now Tipper will have the inside at turn 4. And Tipper gets the position done. It's a long, hard battle between the two. It has gone on for quite some time. Tipper finally finds himself the benefactor there.
Didn't give up.
Moves up into the third position. I don't think he gave up.
No, I don't know how I would have passed. That was incredible. Very well done.
Tipper just played the corner sequence directly to his benefit, put his nose up the inside when it needed to be there. And Tipper, who does seem to be the faster driver between these two, is now out front, all on his own. No one ahead, but a little bit too deep into Ravenel Curve, and that is going to bring Peach right back into it. A touch of contact between the two as well. Somehow, Tipper doesn't go around, and he is absolutely wheeling that Porsche. And I think he is earning his stripes with that Grello livery there. Also a development bird in the pit lane. I don't think he has enough fuel left. And who is that going by? That is the McLaren of YOLO Lemon. Bird is going to give a couple positions back. Scroll and Cade may also come through. Keep an eye on Scroll and Cade. That is your battle for the AM lead, should they get any closer to each other. Tipper just has to kind of keep the same speed that he has now. Cannot afford even the slightest mistake. Neither can Peach if he wants to have an opportunity to get this position back.
Get out of the slipstream. This has got to get out of there.
Very hard to get out of the slipstream of a Mustang. But we have seen Tipper carry a lot more speed through fluke plots, which he does. But the Mustang is in its element. Hammered down a straightaway. The 720 of Silva, I think, had an around at the Kleina Carousel. And this has not been the result that Silva had wanted tonight. Silva, I don't think in any direct threat in the AM Championship. The closest competitor is Schwartz, so not the end of the world for Silva. But he's not going to be doing himself any favors heading into the penultimate round next week. And where are we racing at next week, Slapshot?
Silverstone, and then we'll end it up at Imola.
Silverstone and Imola, two legendary tracks to finish out this season, and this has been a legendary season as well. Hopefully we can see another 50-car grid before the season is over.
I think we'll get there next week for sure. Gabe's still sticking around there on Sproul.
I think the gap is holding steady. If anything, it does seem like Scroll may be going a bit slower. Is Scroll in any sort of fuel-saving mode at all?
Wouldn't that be something? Scroll is the lowest fuel on track next to Griffith. So
how much does he have left?
He had 14. I don't know when this last updated. So I can't imagine Griffith and him would have both miscalculated.
If he had 14 and it updated at the last timing line, which would be the start-finish line, he is right there on the verge of having enough fuel left.
The big eyes on Griffith's pace then, because same situation in the Ford. I don't know if it's a pig.
So possible fuel issues for our top runners in this race. Speaking of Griffith, had a massive moment
Zoanom's got 70
coming out of Versiphon. Peach still trying to chase Tipper. And Brute has actually lost a bit of time as Phoenix Gecko has started to close the gap. That gap now less than 15 seconds. That is the 10 of Selena's that you're seeing. That is not the 24 of Brute. Sorry, I'm talking about the wrong car in the wrong position anyway. Brute behind the 10 of Selena's. Bird had to come back into the pit lane. I think maybe kind of realized that his race may be over. And look at this, right back nose to tail as they were as we come into the closing stages of this race through Vipperman and Eschbach. Now this is going to be the struggle section of the track for the Porsche. Again, it has that superior rotation, but we are later on into a stint for the Porsche. Those rear tires are done. They've got almost 4 laps on them, which is a lot for Porsche tires here. You get about 30 minutes of tire life out of a Porsche before those tires really start to fall off. And as you can see, getting a bit sideways coming out of Brunchen. And now maybe a sitting duck. Swapped positions, Tipper and Peach, as they come through the S's and into Schrabenschwanz. Tipper is not going to be in the position that he wanted to be in heading into the closing stages of this race, Brute and Salinas. Salinas giving Brute a little bit of a slipstream, and while Phoenix is a bit too far away to go for the race lead, he's definitely not going to be getting any favors with Brute getting a friendly helping of extra speed from the McLaren. Tipper is in survival mode, trying to hold on to the final spot on the podium. Brute will come across the line.
Way to go, Brute.
And in spectacular form, takes home the checkered flag.
Oh,
and
he's
I
feeling
believe
it.
that is, I think that's the first Aston Martin win of the season, is it not?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, Reno wins them all, so yeah, that's about right.
Phoenix Gecko takes home P2 between Tipper and Peach. Tipper survives down the Dottinger. Does Peach go for the monster lunge from way behind? 1 and 2. Peach is later on the brakes. Does he have the speed as a drag race as they come out of Tiergarten onto the GP Strecke? Mustang is quicker, but it's not going to be enough. Tipper takes home the final spot on the podium. Peach takes home P4. Griffith and Guzman in a bit of a similar position as well.
We were watching him for fuel. He looks like he's doing all right, though.
Man, that Ford Mustang coming down the Dottinger sounds good.
Let's go. Woohoo! What a race, dude.
Bert, make sure you have your audio included.
I put
There's a little check mark there, Brute. We're going to
Yeah, I
interview
put it
in
on.
just a second.
Perfect.
We're just going to finish up here, and then we'll let Retro do its thing.
sorry.
Griffith takes home P5. Guzman will take home P6. Dingham coming down the backstretch, or down the Dottinger, I should say. Scroll and Cabe
Looks like
just
it
now
wasn't
making
so
their
much,
way
yeah.
onto the Dottinger.
Very well done. Where's our buddy Clint? P4. He's got it.
Dingham will bring home P7. Very good points for a lot of drivers that just hung it out here to the end and maybe picked up some crucial points that they needed. Dingham takes home P7. YOLO Lemon will bring home P8. Between Scroll and Cabe, things are a lot closer than they were.
Great
Still
job
not
by
quite
Cabe.
close enough for Cabe.
That was a huge point spread.
YOLO Lemon takes home P8. Scroliosis will take home the win in AM. Cabe will take home P2. Very good win for Scroll and a good win, or a good podium for Cabe as well. 1.2 seconds the gap between the two. Cabe did a mega job closing up the gap down that last lap. Jones will bring home P4 in AM.
A gutsy job by all these guys, everyone who did this. This is not an easy track. It's hell, man, and we watched a lot of top guys not attempt the track or not finish it, so these 16 on track, pretty impressive.
And just shows you the battle of attrition that is the Green Hill. We started with 31. We lost half of our grid to issues, and this is half of our grid of some of the top talent that you can find on Assetto Corsa Competizione on console. Goose will take home P11. Tychopath will bring home P12. Clint will bring home P13. Silva will bring home P14.
Great points
Again,
for Silva.
not the result that he was looking for. Silva was probably looking for a bit more insurance on those points tonight. He will still gain some points, so it's at least helping his championship lead, which, again, I don't think he has much to be afraid of in terms of threats there. Quint takes home P4 in AM. Silva will bring home P5, and Lynch, when he comes across the line, will bring home P6. So, Brute, stayed out front, played the pit strategy right into your hand. We did think that maybe Phoenix was going to get you on the pit strategy, but you blew right on by just as he came off the jacks.
Oh yeah.
So how does it feel?
that was a tough race. That was a tough race. By lap 4, the tires are pretty much almost finished, so it was a struggle both stints towards the end. But I was pushing as hard as I could. I didn't really cruise even with a bit of a delta that I had on Phoenix. So,
You know, Brute, we
I'm
had the
sweating.
opportunity to sort of look at everyone around you. I don't know, did you recognize that you were putting in a ton of points? I mean, there was no Mitch, there was no Prieto, there was no Euro, there was no one who's in the stand. Do you recognize how much you gained tonight?
Well, I had a bit of pressure on me because my teammate wasn't racing today either, so I had to kind of make up for that, and I think this is the best you could do, so I got the fastest lap on top of that. I was really surprised.
Yeah, we saw the 812.
So,
That was weird because you had like a 15-second lead, and you were just racing. You weren't thinking, or were you thinking you wanted the fastest lap?
not even, I was just pushing. I actually had an 11 at one point, but I figured, you know what, let's just bring it home. I had to psych myself down a little bit.
So, blood in the water at the race start. You had the inside, and I guess you knew that if you were going to go for it, you had to go for it now, and then pretty much the rest is history. You got the move done, and you stayed out front.
Yeah, it helps because I kind of beat him off the line as well. With the green flag drop, they got a slightly better start. Otherwise, it would have been really tight, but that helped me a little bit. And then, yeah, being in the lead with no, traffic in front, all your break points, all your markers are super clear. It's easier, definitely. So I had no choice to push for the first quarter.
We looked at your fuel load, and you were a little under-fueled relative to the people around you. You pitted maybe one lap earlier. Was that because where you qualified, you were always thinking of doing that, or was that always your strategy?
I honestly just did half, 56 liters each stint, and it was a little nerve-wracking because as soon as I entered the pit, I probably had less than half a liter.
We watched that.
It was really close.
Yeah, Brad
But,
was all over that, man. We were chatting about it. We thought you were dead. You never had to fuel save?
No, I was pushing the entire time, dude. Like, no fuel saving.
And you knew your numbers. You knew that you were going to do the lap line.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a little justo. As you can see, I mean, I came in with like less than a liter of fuel. I was a little on the back straight. I'm seeing it go down under 2, and I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be close. But and I added a little bit for the second stint just in case, but it wasn't even necessary. So that was perfect race.
And to bring it all to a close, Lynch will be our final driver across the line, P6 in AM. And congratulations, Brute.
Way to go, Brute. Welcome to the
Thank you, guys.
GFR Winners Club, buddy. You're fantastic.
I appreciate that, especially for
Brute,
me.
You deserve it. Get
Phoenix and Tipper, your pro podium. And Scroll, Cabe, and Jones, your AM podium. Thank you, Slap, for joining me in the booth.
Hey, that was a lot
Hope
of fun.
you enjoyed it.
Retro. This is very difficult to do. You're constantly doing it. I'm sorry if I interrupted you. I had a blast. I'd be happy to join you again. Thanks for giving me the opportunity, and we love having you at GFR, man. Thank you very much.
No problem. If there's ever another track that you're too scared to race, you are welcome to join me in the booth.
And we'll see you on track someday soon too, okay, buddy? It was a pleasure, though, and everybody have a good night. And as I always say, all the best for you and your family. Stay healthy, and I'll see you next week. Thanks again, Retro.
Yeah, thanks, Retro.
Thank you, Slap, and congratulations, Brute. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Don't go anywhere just yet. We will be throwing a raid over to Trackalicious, who are also at the Nordschleife with a GT4 race. So go ahead and throw them some love. Thank you, everybody. Good racing tonight, and have a good night.